Hi, Van Talmadge here again. I want to make another comment about the financial situation in the town of Milan, and I want to tell you the executive summary right now. I am not responsible for the problems that the current administration might be having with their financial system. It is not my responsibility. I left them in good shape, and I have nothing to do with anything in the last 18 months. Now, in case you missed that, I'm going to say it again. I am not responsible for any of the problems that Mr. Barrett and company are having with the books in the town of Milan right now. Now that I got that off my chest, let me tell you how come I'm even saying this. Turned out the other night I decided I would look at the new search engine from Microsoft called Bing, and having, a normal little set of vanity, I typed in my own name, and out pops an article in the Poughkeepsie Journal where somehow they're giving me blame for some problems that happened after I left office. Now let's get this straight. I left office December 31st, 2007. That was the end of my term. I had served what I thought was good. I left everything in good shape for Mr. Barrett. I had the books on the computer. I knew where we were. I left him all the materials. I left him all my stuff. Everything, to the best of my knowledge, was in good shape. Now I come to read this thing in the Poughkeepsie Journal that there's some discrepancy between what happened in 2008 with the AUD report and my end-of-year books. No explanation of what it is, and they say somehow it's my fault. Now again, I left office 12/31/2007, and everything was in good shape, and so whatever happened could not have been my problem. Now let me just explain a couple things, because there's background to this. What happens at the end of the year, now the town of Milan's on a fiscal calendar, so it has to report to the state and to the board and to everybody things on the fiscal calendar year. So December 31st is the end of the year. However, the activity for that fiscal year is not over on December 31st. It flows over into, January and February. There are things that happened in January of 2008 that related to the fiscal year of 2007, and the way town law is set up, it is the responsibility of the new supervisor who comes into office to pick up this story, to carry it forward, and if he has any problems, he could ask, all right? But it was his responsibility, the new administration's responsibility, and things had to happen in January and February. And I'll tell you what they are. They're leftover bills from the highway department. There's a couple of revenue items that apply to the fiscal year that do not come in till after the end of the year, particularly the sales tax number, which is almost the last thing that happens. The sales tax, the town of Milan gets a sales tax check around the 1st of February. It relates to sales tax activity in up through November of the preceding year. So in 2008, they got the sales tax number that related to 2007 fiscal year. The end of the year for fiscal 2007 cannot be closed until that comes in, or at least is accounted for. So normally, and this is what I did in my 4 years, I took January and part of February to figure out everything, to get everything straight, to get the numbers all right, because they have to jive. When you turn them over to the state, they have to jive, all right? And you use that time period to do it. January is a very busy time, and I'm very sympathetic to the problems that Mr. Barrett had when he came into office, because he was brand new and he had to pick this up. But at least I left him the books, and I left him all my material, and I didn't go back and change it or do anything subsequent to leaving office. Now I tell you that on the side is that when I came into office back in January of 2004, and Mr. Jeffries had been the previous supervisor, he wiped everything off the computer, so I had no records to start with. We had to hassle him a little bit, and eventually he gave them to us, and we had bank records, and we had paper stuff. So when I came into office, I had to reset and reconstruct his books, and we had to get an accountant who came up and had to look at it, and we had like 6 pages of documented problems that I had when I started up, and they were all from the preceding year. But we documented them, we fixed them up, and we went on. All right? So, and we never after a while blamed anything that was going on with us with all of that, stuff that Mr. Jeffries had left us. All right. So Mr. Barrett has to come into office, he has to pick it up, and as I say, the records were there, they were in good shape, the bookkeeper who had been doing it for me kept on doing it, the payroll service kept on doing it, things were the same. You just pick up these books, you go forward, you learn how the system works, and you get it done. Now, I don't know what went on because I wasn't a part, and I have not been leaning over Mr. Barrett's shoulders trying to understand everything and pick out all his problems, all right? All I want to say is I did not cause these problems, and for whomever it is that's doing this stuff that gets into the paper that says I'm responsible, I don't think it ought to be stopped. That's what I think. Okay, that's enough for today, all right? But maybe I'll do a little more of these video comments if we see more information that needs to be put out there, because somehow the story is not correct. You all have a good day. Thank you very much.